All right, we'll call the Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners Wildlife Heritage Committee meeting to order for Friday, June 23rd, 2017, 8 a.m. Have the roll call of the committee. Commissioner Almberg? Here. Commissioner Valentine? Here. Commissioner Young? Commissioner Young is absent. Cab Chair Bunch? Here. And Cab Member Krim?
Here.
We'll move to agenda item number 2, approval of the minutes. Chairman Wallace for possible action, minutes from the June 23rd, 2016 and May 11th, 2017 Heritage Committee meetings may be approved. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I had a chance and I had one correction. Commissioner Bliss, I don't believe was in attendance at the last meeting.
I had that correction as well. Further comments from the committee on the minutes? Seeing none, this is an action item. I'll take it out for public comment on the approval of the minutes. Seeing no public comment, I'll bring it back to the committee. Mr. Farman. Okay. Okay. Is everyone clear there were 2 sets of minutes? Here's a copy of them now. And I think as far as that goes, we could approve them separately if you want to, because you weren't even a member of the commission then. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I don't have a problem. We can move them as 2 separate motions. Further questions by the committee? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented with the striking of Commissioner Bliss off the May 11th, 2017 Wildlife Heritage Committee meeting, and approve the minutes of the...
Let's just do them separately.
Okay.
That way Commissioner Almberg can participate in one of the motions. I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 11th, 2017 as presented with the change to from Commissioner Bliss to Commissioner Almberg.
And I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine and a second by Member Krim. Everyone clear on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously on the May 11th minutes. Do I have a motion for the June 2016 minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to approve the minutes as presented for the June 2016 meeting of the Heritage Committee.
I have a motion on the minutes from June 23rd, 2016. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine and a second by Member Krim to approve the June 23rd, 2016 minutes as presented. Everyone clear on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0 with Commissioner Almberg abstaining from that vote. Moving to agenda item number 3, member items. Committee members may present emerging items. Any item requiring committee action will be scheduled on a future committee agenda. Member items? Okay. Seeing none, we will move to agenda item number 4, Commission Regulation 17-06, 2018 Heritage Tag Regulation Amendment 1. Management Analyst 3, Maureen Holliger for possible action. An overview of the Heritage Tag Vendor Program will be presented by staff. The committee will review and provide recommendation on the 2018 Heritage Tag Vendor proposals. Recommendations will be forwarded to the June Commission meeting. Ms. Holliger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maureen Hollinger, Nevada Department of Wildlife License Office. At our May Heritage Committee meeting, we presented 16 proposals, one of which was late, the California wild sheep Foundation. Out of that meeting, you gave the department direction to call the potential selectees out of those 16 to let them know that their final recommendation will happen at this meeting, and we did make those phone calls. There is a worksheet in your packet that lists those choices, and the response was good. One of the concerns they had was they were thinking it might be mandatory attendance. We assured them that it wasn't. We were just letting them know where they were in the process. And there was, I believe, some excitement since it was so out of the norm, because we've never done that before. So I don't know if any of those vendor potential recipients are here today, but we invited them to this meeting if they could attend. And I can go through the list again if you'd like before you decide on your recommendations.
I think we're okay on that, Maureen. We can
Okay.
we can hit them one at a time here and go through them and have a little further discussion through the committee and see if there's any public comment, but I think we're good.
All right, then I'll turn it back to your committee.
Thank you, Maureen. Questions or comments from the committee? Okay, I'm gonna ask if there's any of the tag vendors that may be interested in speaking. Come on up.
Is it just voice activated?
Oh. Bill DeYunker, for the record, President of Wildlife Habitat Improvement of Nevada. I'd just like to thank the Clark County Cab Board for recommending us for another Heritage Mule Deer tag. 3 years running now, we've set state records for the amount of money raised. And over the years, I was going to have the exact figure, but I did not look it up. But I know that Wynn has raised over $500,000. So again, I would just thank you for the consideration for Wynn to receive a mule deer tag. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Further comments from vendors? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee and we'll start with Wildlife Heritage Mule Deer. We had, from the May committee meeting, we had done some preliminary guidance for the Mule Deer Foundation, Wildlife Habitat Improvement of Nevada for one, and then Nevada Bighorns Unlimited Fallon and Nevada Sportsman Unlimited for the second. Commissioner Valentine?
Mr. Chairman, I did some consideration, and the two organizations that I have listed for the mule deer would be Wynn and the Mule Deer Foundation.
Commissioner Onward?
I'm in agreement with Paul. It's pretty hard to get away from. Both done very well.
Okay. Mr. Krim or Bunch?
With that, too.
And I think that's a good choice for the two tags.
Okay.
Also.
Further discussion from the committee on that? I'll take it out for a quick public comment on the mule deer heritage tags.
For the record, Paul Dixon, Chairman Clark. We had discussion on all the vendor tags through this, and one of the things that we discussed is that the Mule Deer Foundation banquet is held in Salt Lake City, I believe, versus all the other vendors that are on here hold banquets within the state. And so we believe that wherever the tag exists, the people who buy those each year will search that event out and will participate in that event, either via phone, which they have been recently, most cases has been via phone for the last couple of years. And we felt that the benefit to the state would not only be the Heritage Program, but there's a benefit to the state of having that tag at a banquet and adding the excitement and adding more money and funds into the state by people attending that banquet, because there's a secondary benefit of the banquet, which is funds raised, which go to things like, if you look at MBU gave money to this committee to cover shortages and stuff. And so each of these local banquets do a lot locally with the money and other things versus if we do that with the Mule Deer Foundation, that's why things like Middle Valley were set up, because majority of the money doesn't stay in the state, it goes somewhere else. And so we supported NSU and WIN for the Mule Deer tags, and that's why. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Further public comment?
Sean Shag, just on myself. I have to agree with Paul. I mean, I think that's the great way to look at it is keeping the money in right here. And definitely, I believe WIN, and you guys had another choice was NBU and Fallon and Nevada Sportsman's Unlimited. And I figured throw in an NBU Fallon. Let's see what these guys can do. Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. Further public comment? Bring it back to the committee for further discussion. Commissioner Olberg?
White Pine Cab also had the same philosophy. They like to see things kept within the state.
Okay.
With that, the only reason I would look at it, the Mule Deer Foundation, is that according to their submittal, they do have 45,000 people that attend that convention. So, and historically, they have received a tag from us. But, in all honesty, I don't have a problem with changing Mule Deer Foundation to Nevada Sportsman Unlimited.
I agree with you as well. I don't have a burden either way. I guess we can discuss it further when it comes to a motion at the end for that, if there's not any further discussion from the committee on the mule deer. Okay. So we'll move to Wildlife Heritage Antelope. We had tentatively thought Pershing County Chuckers Unlimited and Nevada Waterfowl Association. And I just wanted to put it out there too that I had received some correspondence from Pershing County Chuckers, and I'll read it into the record. Dear committee members, thank you again for your continued consideration of Pershing County Chuckers Unlimited as a vendor for the 2018 Antelope Heritage Tag. It's truly an honor and privilege to be able to auction this tag, and an opportunity not to be taken for granted. Unfortunately, we are unable to ask for this tag in person, but we trust that this letter and our continued dedication to Nevada's wildlife and habitat will allow us to again be awarded the opportunity to put sportsmen and women's money back into Nevada wildlife. Again, thank you for your past support and look forward to a continued partnership. Dan Hill, President, Pershing County Chuckers Unlimited. Give this to you guys at the end for the record. I guess I'm happy with the names that we came up with Pershing County Chuckers Unlimited and the Nevada Waterfowl Association. What does the rest of the committee's opinion?
I agree.
Okay. I'll take it out to public comment real quick on the Wildlife Heritage Antelope tags.
For the record, Paul Dixon Clark, we supported Pershing County Chuckers Unlimited and the Nevada Waterfowl Association for the antelope tags. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Further public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee for further discussion on antelope. Seeing none, we'll move to the Wildlife Heritage Rocky Mountain Elk tags, 2 of them. We had Meadow Valley Wildlife Unlimited and Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, or NBU Reno, as our potential choices. Any further discussion on those 3? Commissioner Olberg?
Yes, the same thought on the elk as we discussed with the deer. I think Clark County and White Pine both supported the Meadow Valley Unlimited with the same thought of keeping things in state. And I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay. So in that, so you're thinking NBU Reno for keeping it in state?
Yes, I'm thinking MBU Reno and then Meadow Valley Unlimited
Okay.
for the second.
Commissioner Valentine?
Mr. Chairman, I could support that.
Okay. Mr. Krim?
The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation dinner, where's that one at? Is any,
Yeah, the research I did, it's the actually, it's the rendezvous, and I believe it's in Tucson, Arizona.
okay, so, I mean, I could support it if it's gonna keep the money in Nevada, like Paul had said. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think it's probably a better idea for the economy for our state, instead of someone else's.
Mr. Bunch, did you have anything?
I agree. I think that's a good choice.
Okay, I'll take it out to public comment on Rocky Mountain Elk. Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee and we'll, unless there's further discussion, we'll move on to Wildlife Heritage, Nelson Bighorn Sheep Tag 1 and Sheep Tag 2. And we have potential choices of Wild Sheep Foundation, Fraternity of the Desert Bighorn, and NBU Reno, and I believe that was they were doing that as a partnership. Isn't that the one that was the partnership?
The partnership is the Wild Sheep Foundation and the
Right.
fraternity, yeah.
Any discussion on the sheep options? Okay. Seeing none, I'll take it out to public comment on the bighorn sheep. All right. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee. And further discussion on sheep? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to Wildlife Heritage, California Bighorn Sheep. We had potential choices of NBU Reno or Elko Bighorns Unlimited. Discussion from the committee? Commissioner Valentine?
I kind of feel that after looking at the submittals, Elko Bighorns Unlimited, I think they have a pretty good sized banquet. I think it's in the 550 range. And it wouldn't hurt my feelings to have them have an opportunity for the California Bighorn.
I think I would agree with you, Commissioner Valentine. Further comments before I go out to public comment? Commissioner Albright?
I have no problem with that at all.
Okay.
Again, that goes back to distributing some of these banquets throughout the state.
Yeah. Okay. Public comment on Wildlife Heritage, California Bighorn Sheep?
Chris Cefalu, MBU Reno. I'd like to first thank the commission for the consideration of tags for MBU Reno. We are very interested in the California Bighorn Sheep. I think we hold the record for selling that tag in the state, so we'd like consideration for that. That being said, we'd like to see either Elko Bighorn Unlimited or Fallon have an opportunity at a tag, possibly the elk tag that's in consideration for MBU Reno. Either way, we want to keep it in state. I like the comments. We like the comments that we hear, keeping these tags here in our state, and thank you for that consideration.
Okay, thank you. Further public comment? Bring it back to the committee for further discussion. Commissioner Almer?
Yes, if I'm understanding them right, you're saying that MBU would be willing to give up the potential elk tag in the Reno for the California Bighorn in Reno? Yeah, and I guess I have no problem with that at all.
Anything further from the committee? Okay, we'll move on to the Wildlife Heritage Wild Turkey Tags. We have Wynn, Carson Valley Chucker Club for 2, Meadow Valley Wildlife Unlimited, and Nevada Sportsman Unlimited. Discussion from the committee on these options?
I have the following organizations with turkey tags, if you want to run down my selections.
Go
I
ahead.
have Meadow Valley, Nevada Sportsman Unlimited, Carson Valley Chucker Club, Wynn, and Las Vegas Woods and Water.
So that would be essentially leave Carson Valley Chucker Club 1 and then transfer it to Las Vegas Woods and Water. Is that what? Further discussion from the committee on that? Okay, we'll take it out for public comment on the Wildlife Heritage turkey tags.
For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark County Chairman. In the vein of Commissioner Valentine, we had discussions in Las Vegas Woods and Waters. Their banquet's getting up around 500 now. We had Carson Valley Chucker Club, Middle Valley Wildlife Unlimited, NSU, and SCI. SCI is something we haven't mentioned. They have a pretty good-sized banquet up in Reno. This first time that I know of they've applied for tags in a while, so it might be, starting with the turkey tag and see how they run through that. But again, it's kind of spreading the wealth and trying to keep from double stacking in a lot of cases, unless something like MBU Reno, I didn't mention earlier, but when we talked about the Desert Bighorn, we thought, we had the discussion of whether giving them a bighorn in a California, a desert in a California, for MBU would be better than taking the elk tag and putting it somewhere else like he suggested, and we supported his recommendation that he came up and gave you from MBU. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Come on up, Sean.
Sean Shea, on myself. At your guys' last meeting, actually I thought everybody was in favor of the Win 2, the Chucker Club 2, the Meadow Valley Unlimited, and the Nevada Sportsman Unlimited. When I left, everybody I thought was comfortable with that. I think the Chucker Valley Club should get 2. I mean, you look at the money those guys have put up towards upland game. The birds and stuff blows all these guys out of the water. So I think this is the first year they want to do it. And, sometimes you see those 2 tags, one bidder, they start bidding back and forth. And then all of a sudden they get it up there and they go, okay, we had another tag, and that other tag goes for the same as that other one. And it'd be kind of nice to see that, especially because you got some big money guys that's starting to come to the Chucker Valley Club. So it'd be kind of nice to see them with 2.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. Further public comment before I bring it back to the committee? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee for further discussion and a final motion. I'll start off. I don't have an issue with the suggestion of NBU Reno for the California Bighorn sheep tag and giving the elk tag to Elko Bighorns Unlimited. I feel pretty good about that myself, actually. I don't know what the rest of the committee. Commissioner Valentine?
Yeah, I can certainly support that. I know that Elko Bighorn Unlimited, they requested either the California Bighorn or Rocky Mountain elk.
You guys got anything?
I'm
You're
good
good?
with that.
Okay. All right, I think we're ready for a motion. Maureen?
Mr. Chairman, Maureen Hellinger, Nevada Department of Wildlife. Could we do each species as a separate motion, just for clarity for stepping into the commission meeting later on this morning?
Yeah, we
Okay,
can do that.
Thank you.
Following that up, we'll start right off with the 2 mule deer tags. I'll make a motion that we award the mule deer tags to, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. To Wynn and to Nevada Sportsman Unlimited.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion by myself and second by Commissioner Valentine to award the Wildlife Heritage mule deer tags to Wildlife Habitat Improvement of Nevada and Nevada Sportsman Unlimited. Is everyone clear on the motion? Call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. We'll move to Wildlife Heritage Antelope.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to award the Wildlife Heritage Antelope to Pershing County Chukar Unlimited and Nevada Waterfowl Association.
And I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine and a second by Member Krim for Antelope to be Pershing County Chukars Unlimited and Nevada Waterfowl Association. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Wildlife Heritage Rocky Mountain Elk for 2 tags.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we award the Wildlife Heritage Rocky Mountain Elk tag, 1 to Elko Bighorns Unlimited and 1 to Meadow Valley Wildlife Unlimited.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine and a second by Commissioner Almberg to award the Rocky Mountain Elk heritage tags to Meadow Valley Wildlife Unlimited and Elko Bighorns Unlimited. Any questions on the motion? Call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. We'll move to Wildlife Heritage Nelson Bighorn Sheep Tag number 1 and number 2.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to award the Nelson Bighorn Heritage Sheep Tag number 1 to the Wild Sheep Foundation, the Fraternity of Desert Bighorn, and Heritage Nelson Bighorn Sheep number 2 to NBU Reno.
And I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine and a second by Member Krim to award the Wildlife Heritage Bighorn Sheep Tags to Wild Sheep Foundation, Fraternity of the Desert Bighorn, and NBU Reno. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Move to Wildlife Heritage California Bighorn Sheep.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to award the Wildlife Heritage California Bighorn Sheep Tag to NBU Reno.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine and a second by Commissioner Almberg to award the Wildlife Heritage California Bighorn Sheep Tag to NBU Reno. Questions on the motion? Call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. We'll move to the 5 Wildlife Heritage Turkey Tags. Commissioner Valentine.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion for, do you want all 5 of these listed, or do we want to go one by one?
I think we can go do them all. I don't think there's a problem with that.
All right. Wildlife Heritage Wild Turkey Tag number 1 to Meadow Valley Wildlife Unlimited. Wildlife Heritage Wild Turkey number 2 to Wynn. Wildlife Heritage Wild Turkey number 3 to Carson Valley Chukar Club. Wildlife Heritage number 4 to Carson Valley Chukar Club. And number 5 to, it's a toughie, Nevada Sportsman Unlimited.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine with a second by Member Krim to award the 5 Wildlife Heritage Turkey Tags to, I believe, 2 to Carson Valley Chukar Club. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
1 to Wynn, 1 to Meadow Valley Wildlife Unlimited, and the final one to Nevada Sportsman Unlimited. Is that a correct statement? Okay. Everyone clear on the motion? Call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. We good, Maureen?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We'll move to agenda item number 5. Extensions of heritage projects approved for the prior state fiscal years. Habitat Staff Specialist Mark Farman for possible action. The committee will review heritage project extension requests for uncompleted projects approved for prior state fiscal year 2017 and earlier, and provide recommendations to the Board of Wildlife Commissioners at the June Commission meeting. Pursuant to NAC 501.340, the Commission may approve such requests for extensions so the projects approved for prior state fiscal years may spend heritage account funds during fiscal year 2018. Mr. Farman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and other committee members. My name's Mark Farman. I'm Wildlife Staff Specialist with the Habitat Division. And I'm the staff support for the Heritage Committee, and I'll be covering, along with the committee in the lead, on the next 3 agenda items, which are 5, 6, and 7. Hopefully you all have this summary table, which was provided to you earlier. If you don't, I have extra copies. This will be used for the next 2 agenda items, 5 and 6. The first topic is, as Chairman Wallace just mentioned, the request for extension. What that basically means is we have a total of 8 projects from fiscal year 13 through fiscal year 17, which are requesting an extension, which simply allows them to carry over any unused funds into fiscal year 18. And the way to read this table is, if you want to figure out which projects are requesting extension, just look at the far right column. And if you see the words extension request in that column, that's one of those 8 projects. If you see a dollar amount in that column, that's a project that's been completed, which will have unused funds to be reallocated to other projects, which we're going to cover under the next agenda item. So getting back to extension requests, this table tells you the amount of money that's been spent by each of those 8 projects, what the current balance is, the unspent balance that is going to be carried over to fiscal year 18 if the committee approves their request. And then we also included the reason for the extension request. In a nutshell, I summarized what was sent to me via email by each project manager. I have slightly more detailed explanations, but the gist of each is summarized in this table. So I don't plan on going through each of these. I thought it would be best if the committee had any questions among the people here. We should be able to answer any more follow-up questions, but as I just explained, the primary reasons for the extensions are listed. So we have one project each from fiscal year 13, 14, and 13 and 15. And then we have 2 in fiscal year 16, if you look at the page 2 of the table. And then we have 4 from fiscal year 17. Are there any questions regarding the specifics on the extension requests?
I have none. Does the committee have any questions?
No.
Anything further? I'll take it up for public comment. Seeing none, I'll take it out for public comment on agenda item number 5, extensions. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee.
Mr. Chairman, I can support extending all of the projects being requested.
Okay. I can as well. Is that a motion?
That's my motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine and a second by Commissioner Almberg to grant the extensions of the heritage projects requested. I'll go through them just for the record. We've got project 1308 Duck Creek Valley Sage Grouse Habitat Improvement Project. Project 1502, Respiratory Pathogens in Mountain Goats, assessing effects of recruitment and transmission risks to St. Patrick Bighorn sheep. Project 1603, Sierra Front Winter Mule Deer Habitat Improvement Project. And 1606, Mule Deer Corridor and Survival Analysis. Project 17-02, Fiscal Year 17, Big Game Capture Monitoring and Disease Surveillance Program. Project 17-03, Spruce Mountain Restoration Project. 1705, Delineation of Desert Bighorn Lambing Habitat and Ram Dispersal Patterns. And 17-06, Sheep Flat Habitat Enhancement. Is everyone clear on the motion? I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously on the extension of heritage projects. Move to agenda item number 6, heritage funding reallocations from projects approved for prior state fiscal years. Chairman Wallace for possible action. The committee may recommend to the Board of Wildlife Commissioners at their June meeting the reallocation of $175.75 in funds no longer needed by one or more heritage projects to other heritage projects, as long as the projects to receive the funds were approved for the same state fiscal year as the project that no longer needs the funds. Mr. Farmer.
Thank you, Mark Farman, again for the record. If we look at the same table that we just covered on the previous agenda item, this table is also support material for agenda item 6 regarding the possible reallocation of any unused funds to other projects. I need to point out that such reallocation can only occur to other projects that are active and from the same fiscal year. So that's important to keep in mind. We have probably a record low amount of dollars to be allocated. We have a grand total of $175.75. Our project managers did an outstanding job in spending their award amounts, so I'd like to recognize them. So we have a pretty easy task today because the dollar amounts are so low. If we look at the first project that has an unspent balance, it's fiscal year 14, project 14-04. The bad news is there are no other projects from that fiscal year to allocate funds to. The good news is it's a very small amount of $41.33. So I believe that just simply stays in the account. So it's not wasted, it's still in the heritage accounts to be used for future purposes. If you go to the second page, we have 2 projects from fiscal year 16, and the first is 1604 Atlanta Road Sage Grouse Habitat Improvement. There's $70.42 of unspent funds that can be reallocated to either of the 2 active projects from that year. And then likewise, 1609, the North Shell PJ Removal Project has a remaining balance of $64. So like the previous project I just mentioned, that unspent balance can be reallocated to either 1603 or 1606. Do you want to entertain that unspent balances from those projects, or should I continue summarizing FY17 first? You want to do it all at once when I'm done?
Yeah, let's just
All right.
do it.
Oh, there turns out there's no
There is-
unspent balance in
yeah.
17, so never mind.
So for 1603 or 1606, is there a preference by the department of where that would be reallocated to either of those projects?
No, we have no preference.
Questions or comments? Commissioner Olmert?
I think one of the only cabs that responded to this was Washoe, and they'd like it to go to project 1603, the Sierra Front Winter Mule Deer Habitat Improvement Project.
Further committee comments or questions before I go to public comment? Seeing none, public comment on agenda item 6, heritage funding reallocations. Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee. Commissioner Alberg.
I'll make a motion to reallocate the funds from Project 1604 and 1609 to Heritage Project 1603.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Alberg and a second by Commissioner Valentine to reallocate the funds from 16-04 and 16-09 in a total of $134.42 to be reallocated to project 16-03. Is everyone clear on the motion? Call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Move to agenda item number 7, State Fiscal Year 2018 Heritage Project Proposals. Chairman Wallace for possible action. The committee will provide recommendations regarding state fiscal year 2018 funding of new heritage projects to the Board of Wildlife Commissioners at their June meeting. The committee may recommend the commission approve up to $785,913.92 of the funding for new heritage projects for fiscal year 2018. Mr. Farman, are there any updates or changes?
No, there are no changes. We can just pick up where we left off at the last meeting. And again, I have a few extra copies of the related summary table if anybody needs it.
Hey, Mark, you got an extra copy?
Sure.
And I also want to take this time again to thank NBU. I'll take it. For their generous donation that allowed us to fully fund all of the projects this year. So I think with that, if there's any further questions or comments from the committee, before I take it out to public comment. Okay. Public comment on agenda item number 7. Come on up, Sean.
Sean Shea, Washoe County again. It was just brought up at our CAB meeting why on 18-08, it was brought up again, why there is no trout stamp or duck stamp money spent towards that. It's all coming out of Heritage, and this whole thing is for ducks and the fisheries. So there was 2 questions why that was brought back up. So I just wanted to bring that up.
All right. Thank you, Sean. Mark?
Thank you. As I understand it, Alan's more of an expert on this topic than I am, but as I understand it, the use of trout stamp funds is limited to hatchery-related facility improvements and repair. Is that correct, Alan?
We can use it, but I think it was being utilized for hatchery.
Oh, it's been earmarked, if you will, or the intent of the funds that are in that account are needed for hatchery repairs and improvements. And that's why it was deemed a more appropriate use of this account.
Jack Robb for the record. We do have some big projects going up to hatcheries. They're getting old in age, and we have some major well projects trying to get proper water to combat disease at some of those facilities. So we're using our money for out of the trout stamp there to keep those facilities up.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Robb. Come on up, Paul.
For the record, Paul Dixon, Clark. On the projects, a couple of comments from Clark Cab. One was Project 1802. There was a feeling by the cab and brought up that there should be a monitoring component to 1802 to track and verify success. A lot of the times when we go out and do stuff, seedings and big things like that, we do stuff, and there have been projects where we spent millions of dollars and we have nothing to show for it because germination rate was 2 or 3% or something. It would be nice to know with the monitoring program how successful we were in what we're applying, because we have a large amount of money being put at this from a large amount of groups. And the other thing was Project 1805, which is the thinning, or fuel thinning project. That fuel thinning does little or nothing for wildlife. I mean, if you're going to do things, it looks very good aesthetically when you look at a mountainside versus chaining. But if we're doing heritage projects, are we doing them for aesthetics, or are we doing them for wildlife? And our feeling is if you're going to do something for wildlife, it isn't fuel thinning, you should just chain the PJ away and go from there. But if you're going to be doing thinning, it doesn't seem to be a wildlife-related project to us. And that was our concern. And you guys can discuss, and we could be made wrong, but that was a concern. We didn't have anybody from NDOW that could answer the question at our CAB to recommend different than that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Alan?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. For the record, Alan Janay, Habitat Division Chief, and I appreciate Paul's questions, and I apologize that nobody was there to answer that question. But as far as 1802 and the wildfire restoration, a big component of what we do through the Nevada Partners for Conservation and Development program is a monitoring program. And so we do hire vegetation crews annually that we send out to monitor our success. And so oftentimes what you'll see is you may see 5 years before a seeding actually takes. And so we'll continue to send crews out and monitor, but we do make sure that we track projects and see what our success rates are. And there's maybe an opportunity where we could bring Lee Turner, who oversees that program, to come in and talk about those successes. But there are times where it fails, but that doesn't mean that we walk away from it, neither us nor BLM. You know, you just can't give up on some of these. So to say that it's wasted money, if we don't put the money forward, we know what we'll get. So it's a matter of, you know, do you want to take cheatgrass and just buy into that, or do you want to try to fight and get at least some opportunity at success? So that would be a little bit of comment towards what was coming out of the CAB. As far as the fuel thinning and the Overland Pass project, is that much of that project is old chainings, and so what we're looking at is there's multiple techniques being applied, and where the thinning's occurring, it's in those old chainings, and so it's chaining maintenance. It's going back into projects that were conducted in the, I think even some of them into the 70s, and we're going back in and maintaining those to try to give the uplift to those migrating mule deer that travel down that Ruby Area 10 corridor.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Alan. Further public comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee. Anyone have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the wildlife heritage proposals as submitted for the fiscal year 18 funding.
I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine and a second by Commissioner Almberg to approve the wildlife heritage proposals for fiscal year 18.
Excuse me, Chairman. One thing we might do just to make the record clear is acknowledge where we're going to put the donation from NBU. And I think, if I remember correctly, they were thinking of putting that towards the 1802, but maybe Chris could confirm that.
And if I may elaborate, that way we'll formally not exceed the funds available. So, because if you approve the projects as proposed, we'll exceed the amount available. But if my math is correct, a donation of $33,686.08 would allow the total requested to match the total available. And NBU Reno graciously offered to cover that shortfall. So we're under the impression that we can take the donation from NBU. If they still wish to donate to project 18-02, that would simply reduce the amount being requested by that project So it'd be 100,000 minus 33,686.08, which I can do the math on real quick. And that would allow us to not exceed the funds available.
Okay, let me have Chris come up real quick and make sure that was if they had a particular project they wanted to put it towards or not.
For the record, Chris Cefalu, MBU Reno. That is correct. We picked 1802 just to make it easy to write one check. And since that one was that project was a large amount, I believe 100,000, that is the one we picked to help make up the shortfall so the funds for all projects could be.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
I have the calculated amount if you need it, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that because I don't have a calculator on me to.
So applying the donation to project 18-02 would reduce the requested award amount down to 66,313.92.
Okay, so maybe, I don't know how to clarify your motion, or maybe we just need to start over. I'm not sure what the best procedure would be here.
I don't either, but I can definitely repeat the motion with the adjustment to Heritage Project 1802 to be funded from Heritage monies for an amount of $66,313.72.
92.
What was it?
92.
19?
92. 92
92
cents.
cents.
Is the second agreeable to that? Yes. Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Valentine with a second by Commissioner Almberg to approve the wildlife heritage proposals submitted for fiscal year 2018 as presented, with the exception of 18-02 be funded from Heritage for $66,313.92, with the balance of that to be made whole by Nevada Bighorns Reno's donation. Is everyone clear on the motion? Call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Move to agenda item number 8, future committee meeting. Chairman Wallace for possible action. Committee may set a date, location, and time for the next committee meeting. At this point, I don't think we have a specific need for a near-term meeting, so we'll probably be next May. Is that right? Yeah. This is an action item. I'll take it out for public comment. Public comment on agenda item number 8. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee. Any further comments? Seeing none, we'll move to agenda item number 9, public comment period. This period is for general comment on anything not on the agenda. No committee action will be taken but may be scheduled on a future committee agenda. The 3 and 6 minute time limits still apply. Public comment. Okay. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the committee and we will stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, MBU Reno, for the generous help.